Hello and welcome back to my channel, Easy as 123 Tutorials. Today we are going to put together a digital planner. Now you might ask yourself, what's the difference between a digital planner and a regular planner that you use with pen and paper? Well, a digital planner is used on an app like GoodNotes or Notability or any other digital planning app that you might use on your Samsung tab or your iPad. And when you use a digital planner, it has tabs and links that link to pages in your planner, shortcuts. So for example, you might want to go to the month of February and you can just click on a word and it'll take you to that page where the month of February is located. Now, with digital planners, you can write on them, and if you make a mistake, you can just erase what you've written and start all over again. Whereas with printed planners, it gets a little bit messy, right? With digital planners, you're using either an Apple Pencil or a stylus. And the fun thing about digital planners is that you can also add stickers to your planners. You can move them around. Today, we're going to create a digital planner together from start to finish. This video is going to be long. So if you want, you can skip through. You can fast forward to other parts of the video where you might have an interest in learning how to do one of the items. So thanks again for joining me today. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, specifically if you found any part of this video helpful. It's always appreciated. So there are a few things that we need to decide before we can create our digital planner. So you need to decide number one, the size of your planner. So today I'm going to be creating a planner that's made specifically for an iPad. Now I've got an iPad Pro, so I'm going to be designing it for my iPad Pro 10.5 inch. I'm going to put in a width of 6.5 and a height of 8.5, and that's in inches. Okay, so I'm going to create my workspace. Now, basically what I did is I just measured the screen of my iPad, and those are the dimensions that I got. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. You could be off by a few millimeters. You can expand the screen and make it smaller to fit. You just don't want it oversized. So that's one of the things that you need to decide. You need to decide on the size. Now, some of the other things that you'll need to decide before you start designing your digital planner is you will need to decide whether you want to have a portrait or whether you want landscape. And I guess it all just depends on whether you want to be writing you know, down the long side or whether you want to be flipping it the other way and having it horizontal landscape and have like a wider writing surface. You'll want to decide whether you are going to want to have a coil just for aesthetics, whether you're going to want a coil to make it seem like it's bound, and you can just, you know, put that on the edge if you do. want it either landscape or portrait. You can add that to a portrait design as well. Or if it's landscape, you can just put it in the middle and to be dividing your pages to make it seem like a booklet planner. The next thing that you should do is decide on 2 to 3 fonts for your planner. I personally wouldn't use more than 2 to 3 fonts for your planner. And you'll also need to kind of figure out, what color palettes are you going to be using for your digital planner, and whether you're going to have it dated or undated. I like for digital planners, I like to have some of it dated and then leave the rest undated, because sometimes I'm not using all the pages. I'm not planning that far in advance, and sometimes I'm not planning, and then when I come back to it, then I see a few blank pages. So there are some pages that I don't like dated, but it's all up to you and your preference, and you can customize a digital planner any way you want. All right, so the next thing that you're going to want to decide is whether you want to include a cover page with your design. Keep in mind that the more elements you use, the more colors you use, the more text fonts, the increased size your design is going to be, and that takes space and memory, and that might limit you being able to finish your design. So it's up to you whether you want to create a cover page. I sometimes just create my cover pages separately. So I'll keep them together for this demonstration, and I'm just going to take a look and see what's available in terms of background. So I'm going to start with a background image for my design. I haven't thought about what I'm going to use, so this is totally ad hoc in terms of this tutorial. So maybe I will choose some type of beach scenery just for inspiration. Okay, I'll use this one. And I am going to rotate this and or I'll just right click and set it as my background. And now I will add some text to this. So once you have your cover, you have a couple of choices here. You can either have this as a unique page, or you can duplicate it and carry forward the template. And what I mean template is I mean the background, and add onto the background to continue your planner. That's up to you. Just keep in mind that the more elements you use, the more backgrounds you use, the more memory you're going to consume, which is going to make it hard for you to complete your design. You might have to split it up into different files. Unfortunately, though, if you're linking, if you're using hyperlinks to pages, that isn't going to work very well. Okay, so for this tutorial, I am not going to use the template for all of my pages. I'll use it for some just to show you what I mean. And if I'm using it as a template, I'm just going to remove the writing there because this is what I want, really. I just want the background image here. Now, eventually we're going to add tabs. Okay, so keep that in mind when you are designing, to just leave room for the tabs. And now is a great time to actually bring down some guides so that you know how much room to leave for your tabs. Okay, so that's what I'm doing right now, and then I'm just adding a little bit of space for my coil, which I'm going to add as well. Now, usually the second page is, if you're selling planners, digital planners, usually on the second page you'll want to add instructions. So if you're using the background, what I would do is I would come into your elements and I would just find a square. Now, if you don't find a square, that's okay. You can just add this element here, and then you can just change it to square. And you'll want to make the background there transparent, and you'll want to also maybe change it to white. And so what I would do is I would just expand it to cover the majority of the page, keeping in mind I'm going to have tabs coming along here in my coil. And then I would just add my heading for instructions, if you're going to have instructions. And I'll make that smaller, and I'll bring that up here. Okay, and then I can add a text box in here with my instructions. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to add the coil just to show you what that looks like. So we want it to look as much like a book as possible. So there's my coil. I'm going to add another one because that's not large enough. So I'll just put that there, and I'll add another one there. Okay, so there's my coil. For the last one, I think, though, I am just going to see, I guess I can't shorten it, so I'll have to leave it like that. Okay, so now, again, if you're going to continue to use this template, then you could just press the duplicate page. Before we continue, just keep in mind that if this is too transparent, you can always make it less opaque so that you're not seeing too much of the background, and then whatever instructions you put on there, you'll be able to read more. Okay, so now when you're preparing your template to be used for subsequent pages, just keep in mind that if you're going to be adding tabs in the perimeter up here, you're going to need a background for those tabs to be placed behind. Otherwise, what's going to happen is all you're going to see is a tab, right? This is what you're going to see. You're going to see the tab. You want to be able to stick that tab behind, right? So when you're layering, you want it to be able to place it behind. If you're not using a white box or page or some kind of element to hide the back of your tab, then this is what you're going to see here as an example. Right? You're going to see that. And because there isn't a page on top to hide it, for example, this shape that would hide it, you'll see the end of the tab, and that's not going to be aesthetically pleasing. So you'll need to have some kind of a box on your page to work with when you're going to be adding tabs. Okay, and you'll see that later on. So when you're creating your template, just make sure that you're also including a white page so that when you are adding your next page, whether it be like instructions or a year-to-date calendar, you have somewhere to place your tabs in behind, tuck them in so that you don't see them. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is create my next page, which is going to be my year-to-date annual calendar. But before I do that, I'm not going to carry over the background template, so to speak, in all of my pages, only some of my pages. So, but what I do want to do is I want to carry over this white space because that'll be somewhere for me to tuck in my tabs in behind to hide them. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to make a duplicate of this page, and then I'm going to remove the background. So I'm going to take that out, and I've still got my white box there that I could use to tuck behind my tabs. Now, as you can see, I have left my coils in here, and one thing, and you'll see as we go through, the coils and the tabs are something you should actually leave to the very end, because you can just copy those and then paste them on every single page. When you're working with templates and you're adding templates, remember that whatever you have on your page, if you're adding, it likely will just replace what's there on the page. So always work with a blank page and then copy those elements onto the page that you want, instead of just copying right onto the page that you're working on. All right, but I am going to make, I'm going to take that off, and I'm just going to make a few duplicates of this page just for me to have on hand as I'm working my way through the design. Okay, and the other thing that I would do as well is there you have a spot here for the page names, and I would add the page names because when it comes time to linking your document to elements, creating hyperlinks, they're going to come in handy. So the next thing that I would do, the third page, is I would add a year-to-date calendar. And you can just come in here and you can search for annual calendars, and it'll bring up a whole bunch of different annual calendars, depending on whether you want a Monday start or a Sunday start. That's something you'll need to decide. We are going to do a Monday start for this, and I mean, you can do whatever you like. I'm just going to move this here and then add that, and so here is our calendar. Now Again, you're thinking, well, this doesn't really match with my design. Yes, you're absolutely right. So what we're going to do is we are going to change that to play script, because that's what I'm using. I'm going to change the color to black. I'm going to come here and I'm going to change that to bright, because that's what I want to use, and I'm going to change them all. I'm also going to change the font color to black and change them all. And there's this little line here, which I'm also going to change the font color to black, and I'm going to change them all. Okay, so here's my calendar for 2023, and of course you're welcome to design this any way you like. If you don't like this font here, you can certainly change that as well and align it any way you'd like. Okay, so here is your year-to-date calendar. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come and I'm going to look for a month calendar. All right, and here's a January with a Monday start. Now, again, it's not really coordinating with our color scheme. So what you can do is you can just copy the calendar, because really that's all we want. And maybe if you want to add the lines, you can do that. So let's take a copy of that, Control C, and let's bring it in here. And what we'll do is we're going to copy this and we're going to bring it down here and we're going to paste that, and we're going to say January, and we are going to change the font there to the font that we've been using, and it's going to say change all, and we're going to do that, so it's changed it all. And now we're just going to change the red to black, or that the same shade there, and the same let's see what happens when we click change all. We can always undo. There we go, that was perfect. Okay, so there we go, there's January. Now except for these numbers here, let's just change that to black as well. Okay, now you can find you can apply all 12 pages and get from January to February, get all of the pages if you want. If you find a design that you like, you can most certainly do that. Or you can also create your own calendar from scratch using a table. Let me just show you what that might look like. I'm just going to delete this from here. Okay, so if you come in here and you want to add a table, you can come in here and you can search for tables. So here are the tables. You can add, here's one type of table. There's all different sorts of tables. You can add a table like this, and then you can change the colors, or you can just add a this type of a table here, which doesn't have any shading for the headers. Okay, so it's up to you. If you want to use a pre-created calendar, you can do that, or you can create your own. To add columns, you just click here and you can just add a column, add as many columns as you need, and you can click here to add rows. Okay, and then if you want to just size the rows, you can also come in here and say size columns equally or size rows equally, and it'll do it. Okay, Now I would find a weekly planner. So I'd come back here into design, and I'd either create my own weekly planner, or I'd find one from the designs that are pre-made. So I'd search for a weekly planner. There's a whole bunch here, so really it's up to you. I am going to choose this one, and I know that that doesn't really go with our design, but again, you can modify it however you like. I'm going to remove that because that's not really part of our design, but and I'm just going to update the font to our PlayScript font. I might make it a little bit bigger. Again, you want to just make sure that you're using the same size font, so it's a 32 there, and you'll want this to be 32 as well. So okay, and here it's up to you whether you want to keep this shading. If you do, you'll want it to match, so you can come in here and just try and match up the shading that looks like it there, and then you can just change it all, and there you go. And remember again that we were using a different font here, so I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to change the font there to the same font, and here we go. Okay, now this is an undated weekly planner. So and remember when I was talking earlier that sometimes I prefer to use undated weekly planners to save space. You know, you can just use this template in your digital planner and just make copies of it, and then just move it wherever you like in your digital planner. You can do that, or you can create a weekly planner for every week of the year. It's totally up to you. When you're creating a digital planner, you're in control, so you get to create, you get to set it up the way you like it. You don't have to rely on someone else creating the planner and then you uploading it into your GoodNotes or your Notability, and you know, you not liking it because things are missing, or there's too much, or you don't have enough space on your iPad. You know, you're in control, so you get to design it however you like. So the next thing that I would do is, after the weekly planner, I would create the daily planner. So again, you can either create a daily planner from scratch, or you can search in the designs and find one that you like. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to search for daily planner. And I'm just going to find a daily planner that I like. I tend to like ones with like habit trackers and stuff like that. When I do need to plan out a day, and that's not, I don't normally use the daily planner type of page because I don't like to plan that much, if that makes sense. I like the weekly because I get to plan what my days are going to look like, but I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of actually going into the day and planning my day unless I know I'm going to have a busy day and I want to plan it out, you know, to the hour. But again, you're going to apply the same techniques, and so you can come here and you can move this here, and we can come and change the font there. You'll want to do a first initial of the word. You'll want to change the font color in here, and you'll want to increase the size to 32. You'll also want to left justify. And also you'll want to tighten up, if you see that, you'll want to tighten up the letter spacing. Okay. Now, if you're doing daily planners, you might not want to actually be coming right down to dating each day. Rather just leave it blank, and then you can just write the day in here. So that's what I would do. And again, it's totally up to you what you want to do. But the more pages you add, the more space you're going to need to store your planner, and you might not have enough room to actually finish creating your planner. So when you're designing, I would just design with the bare minimum in mind, and add only the pages that you're really gonna need. That's what I would do. Of course, you can do anything you like. Okay, and just gonna update the shading there. All right, and there you have it. So here's your daily planner. Now, again, now the other thing that I might do is add a notes page, only because in a planner you like to add notes, right? So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to find a notes page. Just something simple. And for the notes page, what I may do is I may carry over that background that we chose from the cover page. So I'm just going to add this page. Okay, and I am going to, I don't need that. Okay, so we're just going to change that to our play script. And we're going to left justify that. We'll just make that a little bit smaller. And remember, we were using a 32 font, and I'm just going to move that up there. And I'm going to add a text for my date, right? Because when you're taking notes, you want to know the date of your notes. Okay, so there's your notes page, and all right, so this is your notes page. Now, if you want to make the lines bigger, you can try to increase and pull on the ends to make them a little bit bigger. Okay. But just be careful, because if you grab one line and then you're pulling it, you might make it bigger than any of the other lines, and then it'll look a little bit off. Okay, so this is pretty much it. The only other thing that I would do is just add that background in here. So what you can do is you can just go and find the background that you that you used, which is right here, and then you can just add it and say set image as background. Now again, you notice that, oh geez, you know, you added your notes, and like, how am I even gonna see my notes if I got this background? Well, again, you know, you can just add a shape in there, and again, you can just play around with the transparency. And you can just, let me just change the corners there because it's supposed to be square. You can bring that down. And now you can move that to the back or behind the lines. So you could just drag that all the way behind the lines right there. Okay, now I hope that makes sense. I'll be right back. I'm gonna add all of the months, and then I'll be back to show you how to add the tabs with the hyperlinks. All right, so I'm back, and I did change the fonts just slightly. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create the tabs. So we're going to create the tabs for the months of the year. So what you can do is you can just come in here and you can search for tabs and find something that you like. Now you can either use a graphic or you can use a frame. I usually use a graphic. So here are a whole bunch of different types of tabs. I am going to use this one, and I'm going to try and color code this, I guess according to my background. So maybe what I'll do is I'll start with that, and now the thing is I will need, you'll need to know, you need to fit 12 here. So I guess you just need to make sure that you're sizing them so that there'll be enough space for 12, right? I guess I'm just gonna duplicate them for now, just to see. And then you see when you duplicate them, they just remember where you've positioned them, and you don't have to manually move them. So I'm just gonna take a look and see. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I could make them a little bit bigger. So let's see if I can make them just a little bit bigger. Okay, so there's it got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to add the months to this. And just keep in mind that this is going to go in the back. So I'll need to add some text, and I'm going to add that. So I'm going to try and keep the months descriptions short, and I will try and condense the spacing a little bit just to bring it a little bit tighter. And okay, I'm gonna okay. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna rotate it, and I'm gonna move it here. I'm gonna take this one, and I think that's too tight. I'm just gonna make it. Okay, and there you go. There are the months. Now, one other thing that I'm going to do is I am going to create a page where I can place my stickers. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete these extra pages here, and I'm just going to make a duplicate of this page, and I'm going to take or change that to stickers, and I'm going to remove that, and I'm just going to move that up top there. I'm going to just move that to the side, I guess, and I'm just going to grab all those and delete that. And then I'll grab this and move that back here. I'll take that and move that here, and or maybe in the center, and I can just put all my stickers in there. Now, you can also create your own stickers, which I will show you in another video. But what I want to do is I just want to place one sticker here, just to show you what happens when you add stickers to your planners as PDFs or non-transparent stickers. So I'll just add that one there. Stickers need to be created as transparent images. So adding stickers to a page doesn't really work all that well. It can work, but it doesn't work that well. And I'll show you what I mean when we are creating our stickers and uploading them into your digital planner. But for now, I just want to create a sticker page. And now I want to go back up and continue with my tabs. So I've created the months here from January up to December. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my other tabs up here because I have a few sections. So I am just going to go back and I am going to click on the tab, and I am going to just change that color. And I am going to choose a different color for this. Maybe I'm going to choose a gray for that one. I'm just going to rotate it. I'm going to bring it up here. And I'm going to add some text. And I'm going to say, actually, I'm not going to add text. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just move that to the side for a minute. I'm going to add a home button, a home icon, I guess, so that when I press that, it's going to bring me back to my cover, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to add another one. And I'm going to make that a different color. I'm going to make that a dark turquoise, and I'm going to in here put instructions, because that's going to be referred to this page. I'm just going to make that font a lot smaller, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm going to add another tab here, and I'm going to call this year to date, because that'll take me to my annual calendar. So I'm just going to copy that and move that over here. And I'll just make this a little bit smaller. And I'll make that a little bit smaller. And I'm going to make another copy of that. And I'm going to call this notes. And I'll make another, and I'll make another copy of this. And I'm going to call this stickers. And I don't know that there's anything else at this point that I need to add. I think that's it for now. I believe that's it for now. So let me just make that bigger so that you can see. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to copy these. And I guess if you want to spread them out a little bit more, make them more even, you can do that as well. You know, again, this is totally up to you what you want to do, but we can most certainly, knowing that there is enough room, we can make those bigger. And okay, so now what we need to do is we need to move these tabs to the back. Okay, so you can select them and then you can go to position, and you can go to arrange, and you can just send them backward. Okay, and now we're going to do the same for these ones. We're just going to select them. And I'm doing that by pressing Shift and my left mouse button. Okay, I think I lost these ones. Go back to position, and I'm going to say back. Okay. All right. Actually, I need to send these ones back Actually need to send them back. Now, as you can see, my page isn't opaque enough, so I can kind of see the tabs. So obviously this transparency isn't working, so I need to bring up the transparency so that I don't see the tabs. Okay, so I mean it's all trial and error. Now the next thing we need to do is, which will come in handy, is label our pages. So we've labeled the cover page, we've labeled instructions. We'll label this one, and I'll keep going and I'll be right back. All right, so now I'm going to begin linking my tabs to my pages. Now I'm also going to create a page which is kind of like a section that will have my weekly planner and my daily planner, because I can't link directly to my weekly planner and daily planner, so I have to link to a section where I'll find the blank templates for these planner sheets, which you'll be able to copy and move them within your planner to use. Now this section can either be at the end of your planner, it can be at the beginning of your planner, it can be anywhere. And basically it's just the two templates that you're copying over and over and over, and then you're dating them and using them as necessary. So I'm just going to create a section here called templates, and then I am going to add two headings. I'm going to add one weekly undated planner, and I'm just going to fix that up a little bit and put that like so. I'll make a copy of that and put it just underneath, and I'm going to add in the daily undated planner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link this page to my weekly, and this page to my daily. Okay, now before I start my linking, I'm just going to grab my tabs and I'm going to position them behind my white space box. And then I'm going to start the linking process. So I'm going to link that house to my cover. I'm going to link the instructions to my instructions page, year to date, templates, notes. And this is a very simple process, just a little tedious. Okay, so we're done now. So just note as well that you can either link to the text or you can link to the tab. Either one will work. Okay, so once you're done creating your linked tabs, the next thing you need to do is you need to copy the tabs and the coil, and then you need to paste it on every single page. So the way that I do that is I just click and select all of the tabs. So I've selected the ones on the top, and then I'll select my shift key, and I'll select the ones on the bottom, and then I'll do the same, holding my shift key, and I'll select my coils. So now that I have all the tabs selected, the next step is to copy what I've got selected and paste it on every single page so that the links carry forward on every page. Press Ctrl C and then go to all the other pages and paste the tabs. And then you need to send it to the back. Okay? And you'll do this for every other page until you've finished. Again, over here, paste, back. Paste, back. Okay, I'm going to do the rest of the pages quickly. So this is what it's going to look like when your tabs are linked. There's going to be a line underneath the words, and if you don't like that, then what you can do is, rather than linking the word, you can link the tab, and I'll show you what that looks like. So if you garbage can that, you'll see that it's not linked anymore. So now you grab the tab and you link the tab to notes, and you see that there's no line there. So it's preference. Obviously this would look better than something with a line underneath. And the other thing is that your cover page is obviously not going to have any tabs to link to other pages, and that's, you know, your preference whether you want to add it or not. Obviously, if you want tabs on the cover page, you're going to have to create a box to hide the tabs behind. Otherwise, all you're going to see are just tabs all over the place. It's not going to look aesthetically nice. Okay, and there you have it. Okay, now how do you know if this works or not? Well, you're just going to have to trust me. No. Okay, so once you're done creating your planner, and we're just about finished here, you need to export it into a PDF. That is the only way that you'll be able to maintain the hyperlinks. Now, You can also link to external websites if you like. That's entirely your preference as to whether you want to do that or not. But right now, our final step is to download this into a PDF. Before we do that, I would want to just show you just the feature on viewing everything as a grid. When you view everything as a grid, if you need to move something, you can easily move a page to another spot in your planner. And then you just unclick that and it goes back to normal. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to download this into a PDF. And let's go back for a second, because when you click download, it says, looks like you have links in your design. For links to work, please choose PDF. So it tells you the only way that you can maintain your links is by choosing PDF. So I'm going to choose this one, PDF standard. Okay, and it'll say all pages, and yes, I want all pages. So I'm going to download that. Okay, and here's my final document. I'm going to open it. Here it is. And let's test it out now. So if I go to home, it's going to take me to home. If I go to weekly, there's my weekly. If I go to daily, there's daily. If I choose July, there's July. There's December. And again, to home. All right, so I do have another tutorial on how to upload planners into your GoodNotes application for your Apple device. I'm going to link that video on in the description. Now, if by chance you'd like a copy of this planner, you are more than welcome to download it. I will leave the link to the planner in the description as well. And you can visit my website to download it to use this for personal use. Unfortunately, because I am using Canva elements in this design, it's not for resale, but you can download it free and use it for personal use. Now, if there's anything that you'd like to see me do in the future, please leave that in the comments, and I will try to create a video on based on requests in the comments. And again, if you found this video useful, please press the like and don't forget to follow to be notified when new content comes out. Thank you for joining me. For now, bye-bye, my friends. Until next time.